Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio. We are brought to you by championnews.net. And today we are talking to Illinois Tea Party leader Denise Cattoni. And Denise, we were talking before the break about this American populist movement. Who's the leadership? There's really no central leadership to this movement, which is kind of cool,
right,
in a way.
And we like it that way. However, in real life, and so when you hear, so for example, I'm actually the founder of Illinois Tea Party. So or Illinois Tea Party coordinator. Nobody else wanted it, Jack, believe me.
You are affiliated, though, with Tea Party Patriots, or no? The Tea Party Patriots, the national group,
right, the
Tea
national
Party
group,
Patriots.
right. And I am actually their state coordinator, and I have been for 4.5 years. And actually, Haven Hill.
General Washington had trouble being accepted in the beginning as well. So you're in good company.
Well, thank you very much.
This is a wild and crazy bunch because they got principles, and so far we're arguing about really what it's all about, but we have to get about
But it is an important
sense.
question, because we believe that every voice is just as important as the next voice. That's the whole point of the Tea Party movement. Back in the early days, we actually did a little thing where everybody did a 30-second video saying, "I'm a Tea Party leader," and had everybody do, "I'm a Tea Party leader," because anybody who has decided that they are going to now get involved in politics because they can't stand what's happening in the country, they are a Tea Party leader.
And particularly in Illinois. You know, I take advice from a very expensive advisor. His name is Clint Eastwood. And,
We're not going to talk about the chair, are we?
Love the chair. You know what?
Clint Eastwood told me a man should know his limitations. And my expression of that is, I'm not wealthy enough, nor big enough, nor smart enough to take on this whole country. But I can make a dent in Illinois. And really, Illinois is the example that ought to be conquered, because it is the most busted and the most crooked state in the whole Union. And it is a task that we should set ourselves to and set an example for the rest of the country. But politically, we're here in Illinois, and we got to do something about this disaster
Well,
area.
and I think this is why this movement that is composed of a loose affiliation of national and local groups, right?
Right.
They determine their own platforms and agendas.
Right.
And they started, in 2009, with that Rick Santelli rant.
Absolutely.
When he said, "You're paying for my neighbor's house, my neighbor's bathroom."
Right.
And then
President Obama, I don't want to pay for my neighbor's mortgage.
was that TARP or TELF that
was TARP.
Okay, because I know there was one and then the other, and I always get the
And
TARP
the stimulus bill.
Right.
Also came in, right.
And right after we bailed out all the automakers on taxpayer dollars.
Right.
Now,
the stimulus bill, actually, people have no idea really how much impact that did for President Obama. And
for President Obama, but not for us.
And and even today, it's still impacting that $782 billion. There was money used, for example, Common Core, which I know you talked about.
Let me, before you get too far beyond the point you
Cash for
made.
clunkers.
Right, there was.
Epic fail.
Let me add to your point before you advance with it. Right now, Obama has got the government buying $80 billion a month. They're adding to our debt constantly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're just buying dollars, putting them out with a printing press.
The Fed keeps
It's quantitative easing.
Right.
It's quantitative easing.
We're headed for Germany in 1920 when
Weimar Republic.
But you know what, Jack? People, honestly, I think what's most disconcerting is that a lot of people really don't care about the debt. It's not just the Democrats.
Well,
but
that's
I think
building up.
Maybe
it's going to hit us all.
It seems so big to them, and people are so focused with their own life.
But if they focus on their own life and their own debt, it's just so simple to ask them.
Who's focused on his own life is our president, who is $80 billion a month. That guy is plowing into this country out of our heights.
Right, which we have no say-so about.
We have no say-so about.
Everything we have got, all of the rest of us, our money in the bank, our pension plans, all of that kind of stuff is being depreciated by the President of the United States, $80 billion a month. And how many trillion did you say we are in
We're
debt?
almost up to
17 now.
trillion.
It was 16 last
It's
year.
gone up from 16
Right,
overnight.
which is more than every president from George Washington through George Bush.
That is keeping this thing from falling into an evident debacle to everybody. That SOB is printing money that cheapens everything we've got in order to make himself look good.
Oh, he's horrible.
And you know
He
something,
ought to be impeached for the debt alone that he is piling up.
something I believe that people need to take a really close look at. If we go all the way back to increasing the debt limit, the media knew exactly where the Tea Party politicians were going to fall in line at in advance.
Yeah,
They
'cause
knew.
they're for fiscal
They
responsibility.
Knew.
Right.
The media, and this is a perfect example of collusion. Every single one of the mainstream media groups blamed Tea Party. No, Tea Party Republicans.
Tea
Party Republicans. Let's not blame the Senate that hasn't had a budget in 3
Right.
years.
Right.
Let's
Blame the Tea
4
Party.
years.
Blame the Tea Party.
press is denigrating the Tea Party up and down.
They even
Press
have
is-
been for years.
press
They
isn't
even went.
free press
They
anymore.
even went as far as when we got downgraded in our credit rating.
Right.
Right.
They all of them. We're talking about serious collusion. We're talking about seriously throwing out lies to the American public.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? I do
All
want to
of
make a
them.
huge point here. $1 trillion. We are almost 17 trillion. $1 trillion is an immense number.
It's an unbelievable
imagine.
number.
And you know
And
what I have
people-
heard? $1 trillion, if you took $1 million a day since the time of Christ,
Yeah.
and you would spend $1 million a day, $1 million a day since the time of Christ, you still would have 730 something years to get to 1 trillion.
Yes.
Now wrap your mind around that. That's 2,000 years, $1 million a day.
It's more than anybody can.
And that
can
is part of the problem, though, because if you've noticed,
Nobody gets-
before President, even back with President Bush, who certainly did incur debt,
Yes.
but we spoke in terms of billions. I mean, really, we really didn't talk about trillions much.
No,
And
this-
now people are like, yeah, another trillion, 14 trillion, 15 trillion, like it's no big deal.
What comes after a
but
trillion?
trillion is
Quadrillion? I mean, seriously.
I mean, it
this
really is unbelievable. The fact that every baby is born with $53,000 worth of
immoral.
debt is
It's
immoral.
unethical.
And that's the part I really don't understand.
There comes
is
a day
how
when
people are okay
this
with
all-
that.
There comes a day when this has its effect. And just
It has
meanwhile,
to
Day
at
of
some
reckoning,
point.
right.
listen, Obama is the biggest amateur that ever took on the job. He's never run anything, and all he's got is an immense ego and arrogance that he can just say something and it's going to
Well, we live in
work.
Illinois,
Well, it
so
isn't
we
happening that
knew.
way.
Right.
Here's the deal.
He's a
Obama,
debacle on its way to be realized, and we're the ones that are going to pay the price. He is the lousiest political manager that you could imagine as president of the United States.
I disagree. He's a great political manager because he's driven by the politics of Saul Alinsky, and that's divide and conquer and push an agenda. He's good politically. He's horrible as a leader.
And nobody works the media like him. He's
No.
got swag. I mean, it really is truly unbelievable. I mean, I spent...
He's the biggest con man
Yes.
of all time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He's conned
But Jack,
this
think
thing.
about how he's gotten away with it. Look at
Yes.
Benghazi yesterday, for crying
Because
out loud.
of the press.
They knew that everybody lied. Obama lied. Hillary
Clinton lied.
Everybody knew that. They knew it at the time. Not only did he get away with it and get reelected, yesterday you have the whistleblowers, and they're flat out. They're saying, well, yeah, we were told to step down.
The people are- the
we were
people are-
mortified.
If you watched...
And yet you turn on MSNBC this morning, and they're like, it probably was no big deal, right? I mean, it's just the Republicans blowing this out of proportion. And they really,
If you
they're going to
listen-
go with that for another 3.5 years,
But you
by
know,
the way.
unfortunately,
Fox, there is one network that has outdistanced them all, and it's Fox. And while they aren't purely 100% right, they feel they got to give the other side a little credibility, which they don't deserve. It's only to keep the government from squashing Fox that they even allow
What's so
some
hard to understand, Jack, is we talked
But
earlier
Fox has
before the
been
show
telling a lot of
started
that
about
stuff.
liars.
Yeah.
And that's the part,
Our
honestly,
general
I don't
press
get.
is a liar.
If you, I mean, look at what the press, how they knowingly lie to the public every day. I mean, it really has gotten so completely out of hand.
It's night and day watching Fox and the other networks.
Well, MSNBC is literally friends with the president, and he admits it now. So, I mean,
yeah.
they have breakfast together, and now he's got Organizing for Action, which is 7 million new people to push the president's agenda.
You know what?
Which the Democrats aren't all that
You
happy
want
with.
the truth? Listen to Champion News. We are not part of the mainstream media. Nobody tells us what to do here. And stay with us because we're going to be right back.